Hello and greetings. This is Diane Cox. Welcome back to my channel. And I said I would do a little astrology video, and this is what this is. I'm going to try and make it as jargonless as possible, as kind of broad as possible. What I would suggest you did for this month was, if you know your chart, see where Sagittarius and Capricorn are, what houses that they are all intertwined with, and it'll give you an idea where this energy will be kind of really abundant and buzzing. There's one or two things happening this month which I think are really quite massive, and I'm going to start off with that because last September, October, November, December, nearly every planet, I think every planet went into retrograde, which basically means they form a bit of a weird loopy figure of eight pattern in the sky that's kind of part of the way of their kind of movements. It appears like they're going backwards. They're not really, but it's called a retrograde, and retrogrades mean, okay, so imagine a planet is going backwards or going over itself, if you like. That's how I like to look at it. And nearly every planet to the end of last year was retrograde, which means everything comes to a kind of halt. Everything goes into stasis while these planets go back and kind of, reflect on certain things that they affect in your life. Basically, that's what it means. So when there's a lot of planets retrograde, it means, it feels like everything is like the whole world and the energy in the world is kind of thwarted or stagnant or in stasis. And what's happened generally over kind of November, December, and the last planet, Uranus, goes direct on the 26th of January, all planets will be direct again for quite a while. Mercury just went direct on the 1st of January, and so it means as this almost seems like a kind of real boost, a real kind of energy start as all these planets start to go, way, we're right on track, pedal to the metal kind of energy, as I think I said before. So that's one thing. All the planets are going to be direct at the end of this month. And another thing that I think is a massive game changer, or a huge shift in energy, let's put it that way, and a game changer, is the Sun. On the 19th, 20th of January this year, 2024, the Sun is at 29 degrees. Now, if you know about astrology, you know that 29 degrees of any house, any sign, is what I was taught was called the degree of atonement. It's a critical degree, and it means that it's almost like a last chance to get it right, do it right. It's a really kind of intense moment when a planet is at 29 degrees. So at 19th, 20th of this month, the Sun is at 29 degrees. So you've got the Sun at 29 degrees of Capricorn, and you've got Pluto, the mighty planet of Pluto, the great transformative planet of Pluto, also at 29 degrees. That's massive in itself. The Sun and Pluto, normally when they come together, Pluto is change, transformation, the cosmic hammer, I always call it. It touches and transforms anything. Anything it touches, it transforms. Pluto is the lord of the underworld. It's kind of the stuff it's the deep stuff, the unconscious. It's it's kind of the deep emotions. It's kind of magic. It's the occult. It's jealousy. It's brilliance. It's power. It's charisma and all that kind of stuff. So Pluto's at 29 degrees. The Sun is at 29 degrees. When the Sun and Pluto come together normally, doesn't matter what degree, it's always a massive, combustive, powerful energy. The Sun radiating its radiance and its personality mixed with Pluto, the lord of the underworld, kind of radiating its also dark energy but powerful magnetic energy. It's a really powerful thing when the Sun and Pluto come together. let alone when they are conjunct in the same degree, and that degree is 29. So that's already massive for around the 19th and 20th of January. And then very soon after, obviously because they're at 29 degrees, Pluto's moving very slowly, the Sun is obviously moving a lot quicker, but they then both move in to Aquarius. And this is where Pluto's been dipping its toe in and out of Aquarius last year. This is the full push into Aquarius. And Pluto in Aquarius has been raved about for many a year. The big change, the big shift, Aquarius's ingenuity, its technology, it's futuristic, it's brilliant. It is kind of all that stuff that we've seen a little bit of coming in recent years, last year, like AI and robotics and all those psychopaths who would like to not... I've got this theory that the psychopaths that are basically creating this stuff are all those kinds of people, typically like psychopaths, that don't have emotion. They don't understand emotion, they don't know emotion, they don't recognize emotion, hence being very happy with AI and robots. It's just like them. They're building like little mirrors of themselves, like these kind of people unable to feel, the beauty of a tree and the love of an animal and the taste of food and the joys of the hugely emotive human race. They don't get it, which is why they're happy to take humans out of the of the equation. I utterly believe that. I believe in the whole depopulation thing. They don't want humans around, reminding them of the deep and depth of emotion they can feel, the range of joy and happiness and love and sadness at loss and grief. They don't get it. So I think we need to just get rid of those humans because we don't understand them. We'd rather have robots and people that don't think or feel, just follow commands. Anyway, I was talking about astrology, wasn't I? So basically, you've got Pluto going into Aquarius, which again always has the potential for brilliance, the potential for brilliant breakthroughs in medicine, medical stuff, healing, the spiritual stuff, humanitarian insights, let alone technology and, every way that can be applied. The monetary systems, it's huge potential, but what we always have to factor in is the human, element, where when you've got certain nutters leading the way and they don't have the kind of same drive for the utopian vision that's possible by these technological breakthroughs, they just use it to spy. Why can't I just keep off the subject? It's like, anyway, so it's massive. Pluto and the Sun at the same time almost moving into Aquarius is massive. Pluto moving into Aquarius is massive. I said this last year, and now this is the final push. It's been dipping its toe in and out, so it's big, and you all feel it. So wherever you see the Capricorn and Aquarius in your chart, and Pluto is going to be in Aquarius for about 20 years, so you're going to feel this is the area where Pluto is going to be completely reconstructing and deconstructing an area of your life. So that's massive for this month. Just those two things are really huge, which is very exciting. The direct motion of the planets, Sun and Pluto into Aquarius, huge, okay? And on a more kind of, practical level, so we've got, for instance, today's the 3rd of January. I've made some notes here so I don't forget. You've got this Sagittarius energy at the moment. Sagittarius is in Mercury, Venus and Mars, which means it's a fire sign, it's optimistic, it's the way we're communicating, thinking, the way we're loving, the way we're socializing, and the way we're putting our thoughts and desires into action. Sagittarius is positive, optimistic, too optimistic, a bit blunt, a bit kind of speaking out of turn, but hey, it's all a bit of a laugh, fun to be with, adventurous, outdoorsy, horsey, sportsy. It's fire. It's go out there and do it and have fun. Sometimes the Sagittarian energy can overreach and promise a bit too much, and then can't quite fulfill it because it's promised too many people to do too many things, and it's like, ooh, I've run out of time and space. So the month starts off with that lovely fiery energy. The sun is already in Capricorn. Capricorn it's important to say right now, because Capricorn, as we know, is an earth sign. It is practical, serious, responsible, authoritative. It's kind of do the job, as I always say. It's get on with the dotting the I's and crossing the T's. It's not jovial, but it's just the sun there at the moment, bringing a bit of stability to wild, happy-go-lucky, let's go off and have a bit of an adventure Sagittarius. And the moon currently is in Virgo, so practical, analytical. You might be kind of thinking about what happened over Christmas, New Year, what your New Year plans are, what your resolutions are, if you're making any. Virgo's that analytical, sometimes self-critical, but it's very kind of likes to help, likes to be helpful and do stuff and even help yourself maybe. So that's how we start the month. Jupiter is in Taurus. That's a big thing this year. Taurus, being ruled by Venus, is a sign of indulgence, luxury, again, practicality, nature-loving, abundance. And Jupiter expands everything it touches. So it's interesting that all year Jupiter's going to be in Taurus, expanding this earthly Venusian energy. And the only thing that you really, normally if you get an excess of something, people say you can't really have a bad aspect to Jupiter, but the bad aspect, I shouldn't really say bad, the challenging aspect is excess. So, for instance, with Jupiter in Taurus, it can be eating a lot, eating too much, drinking too much sex, and too much sensuality, overspending, and that kind of stuff, overeating, all that kind of thing. So, but also the land. It'll be, Jupiter, Taurus is the land and crops, and so there could be, maybe a big breakthrough in the way crops are being grown. Maybe they'll go back to having real food and not something that's genetically modified or, kind of full of toxic chemicals that, we'd like to kind of get rid of. So that's how we start the month. Quite a nice earth, fire energy, and then basically we've got a new moon on the 11th in Capricorn. So this is where the fire starts to kind of dissipate, and we start to get a little bit more earth energy. So the new moon in Capricorn on the 11th, which is again, it's gonna make people think about practical ways of running their life, of what they want to implement in their life, in their homes, in their budgets, in their habits. Okay, Capricorn is responsibility. It's someone's got to make the decisions. Someone's got to make the plans for the household. What's spending going in, what's coming out, who's doing what chores. Who's going to take the kids to school, who's going to walk the dog. It's all that kind of stuff of getting organised in the home. So that's the new moon in Capricorn. On the 6th, I just took some random dates. On the 6th, you've got still, obviously the sun's still going to be in Capricorn. The moon's now in Scorpio, so a little bit of more intensity, that plutonic energy, Scorpio, ruled by Pluto. It's all that plutonic stuff. So the moon's going to be intense and feeling like it wants to get deep. Scorpio and Pluto energy is very about depth, going deep, soul diving, that kind of stuff. So the moon's in Scorpio. Obviously the Scorpion has a sting, and if it's hurt, it can go onto very defensive mode and very kind of, it can really have a few little tricks up its sleeve regarding intensity, but it's also I always think a sign of surviving, excitement, sex, drugs and rock and roll, all that kind of stuff. And we still have 3 planets. No, sorry, we don't. We still have Mercury in Sagittarius, so communicating with that fieriness and that optimism and that kind of directness. Venus is still in Sagittarius, all fiery and frivolous, and now Mars has gone into Capricorn. So Mars is very happy in Capricorn because it gives action to the responsibility. It kind of, instead of the plans just being in your head, like walking the dog, who's going to make the packed lunches for the kids, who's going to take the kids to school, how am I going to get to work, who's going to do this job at work, who's going to, it's all that kind of, that practical stuff about life. And when it's in Mars, Mars is the warrior. It acts, it likes something to do, so it's good at putting action behind those thoughts of getting everything organized. So that's happening. And then as the month goes on, the sun goes into Aquarius on the 21st of Jan. The moon is then in Gemini, so we've got air, the element of air with the element of air, the sun and moon. Venus is still in Capricorn, Mercury is still in Capricorn. So still thinking in that very ordered and good planning abilities there with that Mercury in Capricorn, and Venus is still in Sagittarius. Mars is still in Capricorn, and it just kind of carries on like that. And then at the end of the month, you've got the Sun has moved into Aquarius, the moon is in Libra, and all Mercury, Venus and Mars have moved into the earth sign of Capricorn. So the month starts with this like jovial kind of, yay, post kind of celebratory kind of things, and slowly throughout the month it turns into this like, okay, now what do we want? What do we want to manifest? It's more serious, it's more about plans and organizing, and throughout the month, with some of the aspects the planets make, there's some really highs and then some really kind of, I had this great plan. But was it just a bit of pie in the sky? Was it a stupid idea? Now it's met with reality. It seemed good when I thought about it, but now I've tried to implement it. It's not working so well. Goes very well with the tarot that I did the other day, I think. And at the end of the month, we get this very grounded, earthy energy, which I think sometimes you really need when you've got things like, Neptune and, this dreamy utopian ideas and visions and feelings that you have. It's good to have some grounding with that Capricorn energy. And at the end of the month, there's this really nice energy. It's on the 28th, around the 28th. And there's this beautiful kind of trines and sextiles, which are very nice aspects, like lovely flowing aspects, with Uranus, the moon, Mercury and Mars. And basically, I said I wouldn't get too jargony, didn't I? Basically, it's quite interesting because Uranus is like the planet of unexpectedness, unexpected surprises coming from nowhere. It's like, I never thought I'd see that, that kind of stuff. And oh my goodness, wow, hearing some news that you just think is bonkers. And Uranus in this mix, you'd think it would be like, it's all a bit chaos and it's all a bit mad and whoa, what's happening here? But actually, even though it's a bit mad and the unexpected has happened, there's something about the unexpected manifesting that gives us a sense of, that's great. I'm really glad that's happened, which is quite interesting. It's going to be very interesting what that actually can be, and it can be a very personal thing, it could be a global thing, it could be all kinds of things. It's quite interesting to manifest. So let me have a look if there's anything else that I really wanted to say. I think the most important thing is this, on the 23rd, the Sun and Pluto going into Aquarius, that's the 23rd, and you won't feel it on the day, but come a few weeks into after that, into late January, early February, come March, April, there'll really be a shift, a really tangible shift. So that is going to be very exciting to see. I've got all these little things written down here about all the different things and how they're all going to happen, but it's maybe a bit of overload regarding aspects and stuff. I've written down here on the 11th of January, you've got dreams manifested. You know, the lovely, Mars is in a very good aspect to Jupiter. So we have all these great ideas. Like I say, we have all these lovely insights and ideas. And then on a good day, Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, will manifest it. It'll go, okay, you've got the idea, get on with it. You know, put it into action. Where are your plans? Where is your business plan? Or where's your pattern to make that garment? Or, you know, where's your stuff for your garden? Or where's your stuff that you wanted to do with this fantastic idea that you've got? You know, it's like, okay, go and get it. Stop talking about it and just get it. So the month is very much full of that kind of stuff, of the brilliance, and then thinking, oh, I need to go back to the drawing board. And then, oh yeah, I need to do that, and don't be discouraged when things don't quite go, which really goes with the some of the cards in that reading, like the Five of Swords. You know, that kind of know your limitations, know which is what Saturn does. It kind of is like, no, this is what you can and can't do. Here are your limitations. Here's what you can do. Here's what you can't do. And I know that we had the Ten of Swords, which is like being burdened by your own brilliance, you know, a victim of your own success kind of thing. So it all looks very interesting, and it is a month of ups and downs, you know, of being grounded and then kind of wanting to reach for the sky again, which is very Sagittarian, reaching for the sky. You know, the Sagittarius with the arrow, it's like reach for the highest point, go for it, you know, reach for the sky. Why would you do anything else? And so what if you don't quite get there? So yeah, that is great. So the full moon is on the 21st. I haven't mentioned that. It's in Leo, and it's actually making a square to Jupiter, which is quite interesting, because the full moon in Leo is like, see me, hear me, you know, notice me, hear my roar, my lionly roar. And then it's squaring the moon, and obviously it's not squaring the moon, it's squaring Jupiter and the sun. So that is kind of, it's quite an excessive. It's going to be quite interesting, because it's going to be a very interesting, that Leo energy that's all very out there at the full moon, too much of everything, so to speak. And so, Uranus goes, as I said at the beginning, direct at the end of the month, and it's quite powerful as it kicks in. But the most important thing here is, if you know your chart, go to see where the main players are this month. So go and see where the cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius is, and then you'll see Aquarius is the next 20 years for Pluto. Go and see where Sagittarius is, and then you'll get a feel of, in your life personally, where this energy is going to infiltrate and kind of give a bit of a boost and a bit of a time to be inspected and worked on and developed and stuff like that. So if you've got any questions, please do leave them below. I said we'll try not to make it too jargony, but it's all quite interesting. I mean, I like talking about the elements. So the fire, the earth, you know, we've got fire, earth all through the month. We've got some nice lunar waters coming in, and the waters are always great for feeding the earth elements, and obviously the air to get the mind going and the stimulation, the communication going. So let me know if that made sense. Let me know if you'd like to see some little symbols of the planets and whatever, because I'm going to do one of these every month this year, because it's meant to be such a massive year of forward motion and really kind of accelerating into futuristic ways of living and being on this beautiful earth. And so just let me know. Feedback's always really useful. So big love to you all. Have a lovely January, and we will check in, no doubt, in a few weeks' time, and let me know if you had any really big revelations or things happen, especially if you felt the shift of Pluto and the Sun. That'd be great to know. And but have a great one, and thank you so much for watching. See you soon.